Arsenal versus Rennes. Now, this is a huge game for Arsenal, and we all saw what happened over there in Rennes. It was a really tough night for Arsenal. Got off to a great start. We were on the front foot. Alex Iwobi scored. We could have had a couple more goals after then, but then the big moment, Socrates getting himself sent off. Now, I know there was a lot of fans that were saying, you know, oh, they thought that the Rennes player dived, etc. But for me, it was a sending off. I just felt that Socrates was on the wrong side, and from you make that contact like that in Europe, and you know you've got your hand on the next player's arm, they're going to send you off. In Europe, they're very strict on those sort of things, and Socrates had to go. And then after that, it was a completely different game. Rennes smelt blood. They were driven on by a really raucous crowd. I've got to say, that was one of the best atmospheres I've witnessed. The whole stadium was absolutely rocking. Every time they picked up the ball, and we even went a few yards forward, the roar. You know, so it was a real hostile atmosphere for Arsenal. Rennes scored some brilliant goals in the game. I mean, the goal from the resulting free kick after the Socrates foul, where the guy hit on the volley, that was an amazing goal. Their third goal was an amazing goal. They were just, listen, they just had the night of their lives. And they, going into that game was huge for them. I was chatting to people in Rennes on the day, and they were saying, literally, this is like our World Cup final. It's our biggest ever game. And they were really up for it, and they deserved to win on the night. The killer for us was that third goal. I felt that 2-1 with that one away goal would be an excellent result, considering we were down to 10 men. But it was that third goal that really does tip the advantage in Rennes' favour. And there'll be no pushovers at the Emirates. They're going to be coming with 5,000 fans. Literally, there's half of Rennes is coming over for the game. And again, as I said, if that crowd's anything like what they were like last week, they're going to be noisy. They're going to be right up for it. There's a massive incentive to the Rennes players. I mean, Hatem Ben Arfa, you know, who's that player I warned about in my preview to the original game, that he'd be driven on to take revenge over Unai Emery, because Unai Emery gave him a really hard time when he was at PSG. He was brilliant on the night. I mean, outstanding. And we found him very difficult to cope with. Ismail Sarr out on the wing. The guy was like Usain Bolt. Every time he got the ball, he just drove at Nacho Monreal, who was very isolated after we went down to 10 men, and caused us no end of problems. However, I don't think it's going to be quite the same story at the Emirates. It's going to be a different type of game. It's at our ground. It's not at their little tight ground with their fans behind them. And even though they're on the, you know, they're on the cusp of something amazing for them, also they're going to be nervous. They're going to be nervous. This is like the biggest game ever for them. They're going to be so nervous. And we've got to exploit that. And we've got to be on the front foot. And we've had a massive boost ahead of that game. When the news came out yesterday that Arsenal's appeal against Alexander Lacazette's red card, where he got a 3-game ban, Arsenal appealed against the severity of that ban. That has now been reduced to a 2-game ban. Lacazette was already out of last week's game, and he missed the second leg against Bate Borisov as well. That means that Alexander Lacazette will be free to play against Rennes. Rennes are furious about it, but listen, rules are rules, and UEFA think that the 3-game ban was too severe for what he'd done, and it's been reduced down to 2. And this is huge for Arsenal. That means we'll be able to go into the game with Lacazette and Aubameyang in a game in which we need to score 2 goals. A 2-0 victory, remember, will be enough to take Arsenal through. We know that our defence can be a bit rocky at times, but we did keep a clean sheet against Manchester United. If we replicated that result against Rennes, we'll be through to the next round. So Lacazette being available is absolutely huge. We've seen how well he's played against United. We've seen the goals he scored this season, important goals. We've seen the fact that he stepped up in big games. He knows French opposition. He's going to be massive. Now, what will be the thoughts in Unai Emery's head? I'm hoping that basically he's going to go with literally the same lineup that he went with in the game against Manchester United. That was a brilliant lineup. It was all attacking. It was designed to put Manchester United on the back foot and really have a go. And for me, in this game, when we need the same scoreline as against Manchester United, we've got to be on the front foot. So I'd go with the same lineup. Obviously, there'll be no Mustafi. Sorry, no. We wish it was that way around, but unfortunately, it's not. There'll be no Socrates, of course, as I said, sent off, so he'll be missing. He's going to get a one-game ban. But Mustafi will be able to come back in there alongside Koscielny, and then I go with the same sort of thing. Three at the back with Kolasinac pushing on against that Sarr. Don't give him any space, or whether it be Maitland-Niles, pushing those guys back, and then of course the attacking of Mesut Ozil, the attacking of Aaron Ramsey, and then you've got Lacazette and Aubameyang in a two up front. That will frighten the life out of Rennes. Now, if we can go into that game and get an early goal, Rennes are going to be very, very nervous indeed, because as I said, 2-0 wins the game. We've got a brilliant record at home. Brilliant record this season at home. Only 2 defeats all season. One against Manchester United in the FA Cup. The other one in the league against Manchester City. I'll put the FA Cup one aside slightly because, rested players, etc., etc. But in the league, we've been very strong. And the performance against Manchester United fills us with lots of confidence going into the game. I said before the Man United game that it had dual importance. Number one, obviously, to get one over Manchester United and jump ahead of them and put pressure in all the teams around us for that top 4 spot. Obviously, we did that. But also, the confidence that it would give us going into that Rennes game. And we did that. Now those players, especially now that they know that Lacazette will be playing as well, they're going to be super confident. And we got goal scorers there. Lacazette, Aubameyang, we know those two can score goals. Ozil needs to step up in the game, but he can provide and score. Aaron Ramsey can score. They've all got to be in from the start for me. Granit Xhaka can pop one from out, outside the box. So we got the goal scorers there. We got goal threats going forward, and I think we pose a lot of problems, like what we were doing when we had 11 men against Rennes. However, we cannot take Rennes for granted. I think in the last round, they went away and beat Real Betis, or scored 3 goals against Real Betis. I think it was 3-3, or was it 3-1? But they got 3 goals against Real Betis. They score goals. We've got to defend properly. We've got to defend well. Mustafi, you can't afford to make mistakes in that game. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, if you're the one that comes in, same sort of performance like what you did against Manchester United. Kolasinac can't afford to switch off. Monreal has to be just like what he was against Manchester United. Koscielny, be a leader like against Manchester United. And if they get those chances, Bernd Leno, solid in goal. I truly believe if we keep a clean sheet, we will get the goals to win that game. And I'm kind of confident now that Lacazette is back in. Beforehand, I was thinking to myself, we can turn it around. But now that Lacazette is in that team, I don't know, it's like a psychological shift now to us. Even in their preparations, Rennes, they would have been preparing for Aubameyang. Now they've got to prepare for Lacazette and Aubameyang. And that is a serious threat. And all those French footballers will know a lot about both Aubameyang, but especially Lacazette, because he was prolific over there in France. So I'm kind of confident. As I said, the same team, exact same team as it played against Manchester United. That is what I would go with. If we're got a lead, later on you can bring on like Guendouzi's and people like that to hold it. But that is a team I would go with. I suppose the only thing to take into consideration is if Mkhitaryan is fit. Because again, the fit Mkhitaryan, the way he's been playing, and he's a guy who can score goals again. So a fit Mkhitaryan's definitely somebody to be considered for that game as well. But certainly, even if Mkhitaryan was on the bench, that's added firepower. You got Iwobi on the bench possibly if you want to bring him on later on as well to add to the firepower and creativity. So I don't know. I've got a lot of confidence now that we can get this result done. Alexander Lacazette coming back is huge. But we've got to defend. We've got to, we say it every week, but if we can defend, do like what we did against Manchester United, we can go through against Rennes. What do you guys think? Would love to know what you think the team should be. What do you think of Lacazette being back in? Does that give you added confidence that we can turn this around? Listen, get in contact with me in the comments below. Let us know. And I'm looking forward to it. Remember, we don't have a game after Thursday for 3 weekends. Arsenal even going away to Dubai for some warm training because they don't have a game. So the players can go absolutely full pelt at this. No game to worry about at the weekend or anything. Just give it everything. Leave everything on the pitch. And the fans there, let's get behind the team. Same sort of atmosphere as Manchester United and roar our team onto a win. Thanks for watching. Looking forward to the game. Arsenal versus Rennes.